Bingo.
The guy that read your cold email probably thought there was more to it than that. But
Yes.
even after he heard your story, like it still performed well. And like I'm sure they didn't regret doing it because he's representative of most people. They don't know that you can just vibe code stuff over a weekend,
Yeah,
over an afternoon.
Exactly. And that was the idea, right? And that was the value that I was pitching. I was like, look, people don't understand how powerful AI is today. Anyone can do this. I'm an average guy. And that's what I said on the news thing. I was like, I don't know how to code, but I used AI and these neat tools that let me do this to go and bring an idea to life. And now I have customers, right? And getting the customer part is, you got to get out there and make it happen. And, my first customers didn't come from a news agency. This was about, you can't really like launch it and then be on the news the next day. You kind of got to come up with something, get your first customers, like figure that out. And then, the first story, I guess, on the news was probably out 6 weeks in. And by 6 weeks in, I had done 180 grand. And so I had a story, right? It was like, wow, This guy's taken off super fast. He's, completely replaced his income in 6 weeks because of AI. And that was the story. That was the angle.
So how much value did that second interview bring you? Or was it kind of hard to attribute because you were further along in your journey?
Yeah, I actually combined it into a secondary story right at the same time. I wanted it to be a big, like, hey, here's a lot of news, a lot of juicy stuff. I had also just that week before signed a deal with BYU to become the official AI partner of BYU Athletics. And I was going to be helping BYU athletes learn AI so that as they prepare to enter the workforce, they have this technology, because they weren't learning it as much at school as they wanted to be. And they felt that there was a big gap there, and teaching people how to build businesses with AI, they thought that was going to be super valuable. So I signed a deal with BYU. So I had that to talk about. I had, hey, so how's the business? Hey, we talked to you 6 months ago. Yeah, we've gone from 180,000 up to 1 million. And, so there were some update elements to it, but I just brought this whole package of a story. It was like, hey, there's a lot going on. A lot of local people, of course, in Utah care about BYU athletics, and they're interested to know if there's some cool deal there that's helping athletes. And that's just kind of a human interest story. Yeah. The second pitch was pretty easy. It was just like, and this is a key thing. Now I've got a buddy over at KUTV. I've got his cell phone. I can text him and be like, hey, I've got a story. Is this interesting to you? And by the way, I've texted him a couple times and been like, hey, is this interesting to you? It's like, no, not that probably isn't. But if you had something, like if you had a customer, someone that was doing this or whatever, so there will be more, and you can start to build out your own little PR network.
Yeah. I mean, it's no different than my podcast. If I have a good guest on, I want them to come back on.
Totally.
Yeah.
Here I am.
It's a symbiotic relationship. Yeah.
100%. So anyway, finding those opportunities to land somebody that lends you that credibility is an amazing way to get free marketing. It doesn't cost you anything. It is hard. You got to work and you got to push, but if once you get that deal, you want to leverage it. Here's another thing I did when I landed BYU. I did the KUTV kind of follow-up thing. And then I got Replit. I texted Amjad Masad. I was like, hey man, I'm doing this deal with BYU. I plan on teaching all of these students Replit. Would you mind donating 6 free months per athlete of Replit? And he's like, I've never really done anything like that, but yeah, let's do it. And so he jumped in, and I was like, sweet. Can we do a press release about this? So it's me and BYU, a top tier university, and Replit, a multi-billion-dollar startup, right? I'm the little guy, but I'm bringing us all together. And then I'm putting out the press release saying, hey, we're working with BYU doing this, and Replit has jumped in. Amjad does this. Hey, Replit, can you give me a quote from the CEO, from Amjad, that's approved? And BYU, can you give me a quote that's approved? And you have to go through a process. You can't just talk about these things in a press release unless you have the permission. And it might take you a few weeks to put it all together. But a press release does not cost very much. And then it lands you in, Yahoo News and MSNBC, and other people pick it up, and TechCrunch and all these different things. Now you have tons of backlinks to your website, and you have big, credible names talking about you in public. It's cool. Press release is another big marketing tactic.
What service do you use for press releases?
It's PR Newswire, and it's a little bit more expensive. It costs about $1,000 for one, but there's other ones out there.
Yeah. And you think that's worth it? I mean, it depends on the niche, right? But for this,
it depends on the niche.
High ticket thing.
Yeah. Because it was a big deal and I wanted good, like A-tier quality people picking it up, I was like, okay, I'm going to invest in this a little bit. So yeah, it costs a little bit, but it's worth it.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever done a press release. I'm too short-sighted. I'm too cheap. Just not $1,000 bucks, but I'm sure in a lot of cases I'd get my money back and then some.
For sure. If there's some sort of strategic partnership, the Gen AI PI and corner office, team up to do what, and just put a press release out there. And now someone might pick that up and be like, hey, I need some AI services. Chris Corner is super legit and Gen AI PI looks cool. Like, I'm going to call these guys up. There's something here. That kind of thing absolutely works.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, early on, you said you've got to be a good storyteller.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do people become good storytellers?
It's back to the same thing I was talking about earlier. What's in it for them, right? You got to relate to them. A lot of people tell a story about themselves and they talk about how awesome they are. And
we do that out of insecurity. Like,
we do.
We think that we're helping ourselves. Like, we're giving more credibility to others about ourselves when we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
100%. When it's actually a way better strategy to just kind of debase yourself a little bit. You might be really smart at that thing, but it's way better to connect with somebody and say, look, I'm no different than you. You're probably smarter than me, but look, this is the pattern. Here's the framework that I did. And if you follow this framework, you're going to do so much more with it than I did.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's really how you tell a good story, is you help them feel like they're part of it. I'm always selling the vision of what will it be like when you're like after you've adopted AI, right? Like, imagine your life is like this. You wake up in the morning and and AI is already taking care of all this stuff, right? Telling that story of the future desired state is way better than saying, here's our benefits and features,
Well, in my opinion, like, everything in business comes down to removing or adding friction where necessary. Mm-hmm. And so to me, what I'm hearing is you're removing the friction of them not being able to see themselves in that thing, in the car that you're trying to sell them, with the AI tool that you're trying to build them. You're painting the picture for them. It's kind of like a test drive of a car, right? You don't really,
100%.
If you're a car salesman, you don't take them on test drives so they can like see how it rides and see how the suspension is. Like, they don't even know what that means or feels like.
Sure.
You want them to like picture themselves, in this case, literally in the car, because the chance that they'll buy it is significantly higher if they do so. It's not about the speed and because it's all confirmation bias. They sit in the car and they already kind of like it, but they're like, oh yeah, I kind of like how it does this. Of course you do. Like, you want to buy it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're closing themselves on the deal at this point. So I don't know if I've told this story before, but my junior year of high school, I joined the yearbook class just because I had a free elective and I didn't care about it. It didn't mean anything to me. I was like, whatever. But we had like a nationally ranked yearbook. It was serious. Our yearbook advisor was legit. She was like, she went to Columbia and she took it very seriously. I didn't know any of that. So we joined this class, and our first assignment, day one, she has us, reach into a bowl with some sheets of paper. And she says, pull out the sheet of paper and wherever it says in the school, go. So like, cafeteria, hallway, north hallway, and mine was the orchestra room.